Let's begin the show today. And today on the show, we'll be focusing on insurance as one of the first aspects. And for that, I have with me Amit Chhabra, CDO, General Insurance Policy Bazaar. Hi Amit, thank you so much for joining us today on the show. And yes, we have a lot of conversation to do. But then, since you are on the show and budget is around the corner, I would just like to know your budget expectation from the Finance Minister. I know this is just out of syllabus question that I'm asking you. This conversation wasn't planned, but then I don't want to miss a chance of having you on the show. Tell me.
Problem at all. I think there are a few things which have been talked about a lot, in fact, in insurance around, budget and taxation. The first thing that's been talked about a lot is GST on insurance, specifically health insurance and term insurance. This is something which has been spoken about a lot. Health insurance is taxed at 18%, which is very, very high, right? If you just think of it in first principles, health insurance is a necessity right now. It's something that everybody must have. And maybe we're not talking about a high-end insurance policy, but a basic health insurance policy is a necessity right now, but it's taxed at 18%. So I think bringing that down or reducing it or removing it is absolutely necessary. That's point one. Point two is also the quantum of health insurance. So for everybody who's on the old regime still, which is, as we understand, is quite a lot of people, the tax benefit that you can get is at only 25,000 rupees of health insurance. That number should also be increased because health insurance has become expensive over the years. So as such, people should have a higher, I would say, incentive to take a better coverage, and tax benefit is one of those incentives. So that's again something that must be looked at. The same thing also applies to the investment benefit that people get out of the ATC. Again, that limit could probably be increased because we want to increase a culture of savings in the country. So I think these are I would say at a very high level expectations that that all of us have had from the budget in the last, I would say, a few years. In fact, yeah, the sooner they come, the better it is, because again, at a high level, India is an extremely underpenetrated insurance market. People don't have insurance. The concept of social security is also still developing, but
Right.
I would, it's quite weak. So whatever we
Exactly.
can promote insurance will
Sure.
be helpful.
All right, so a lot of suggestions and expectations also. Let's see what actually comes up. All right, so let's begin the discussion. And Bima Bharosa, this is going to be very interesting for all the policyholder. And Amit, a lot of time, even you've mentioned, and a lot of other insurance experts who come on this show, the trust factor for this sector, for the stakeholders, for the companies, is a very huge lacking point. Talking about the trust factor, talking about the grievance redressal, how good is Bima Bharosa as compared to whatever is available right now to the policyholder?
See, I think one, it is definitely a very revolutionary step in that sense. So let me just take a step back and explain what Bima Bharosa is. I think there'll be a good context for the viewers. Bima Bharosa is essentially a grievance platform. So if you have any complaint with your health, with your insurance policy, could be health, life, motor, could be any of the policies. If you have any complaint with your Bima or insurance, the IRDAI, which is the Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India, the regulatory body which manages insurance, they have created this platform where you can come and raise your complaints. Today, the process, or yesterday rather, before Bima Bharosa was launched, the process of grievance was a bit cumbersome, I would say, because you had to write an email or fill up long forms, and then following up was difficult. You had to continuously write emails. Sometimes emails would get missed by people, let's say, like senior citizens or people who are not very well educated. So it was tough. However, by building Bima Bharosa, a platform, a very simple to use platform has now been built. So if you have to complain against the insurance company or the agent or any intermediary or broker or anybody who's relevant in the insurance ecosystem, be it a TPA, you can basically go to this portal and raise your complaint. And post that, the entire process of grievance redressal is simplified very much. So in terms of getting regular updates about your complaint, getting a redressal eventually, all of that is simplified by Bima Bharosa. Again, why it is revolutionary, I'll explain. Because earlier, if somebody had to raise a complaint, there were multiple platforms to raise a complaint. So the first thing that you would typically do is go to your intermediary or agent or broker and raise a complaint. Let's say your claim is rejected for some reason. First thing you would do is you would go to the person you bought the policy from. So be it Policy Bazaar, be it any agent that you bought your policy from. The second thing you would typically do is raise it with the insurance company. So you would write to the CEO of the company or to the grievance redressal mechanism of the company. The third thing that you could do is you could write to the ombudsman. Ombudsman is a neutral body which helps sort of claims any complaint redressal. The fourth thing then you would do is you would write an escalation email to the IRDAI. There is an email ID where you could write complaints at IRDAI, or you could go to the website and fill up a form. So there were these four mechanisms in place, and customers, based on their comfort or based on what they were able to figure out is the right way to complain, they could complain. So it was a bit unstructured, I would say. Now with Bima Bharosa coming in, there comes one standard platform where if you have any issue with your insurance policy, you can just write and complain. And because now it's a platform and a system, it's also very easy for the regulator to look at these complaints and manage them, and eventually, if they see any trends, patterns, for them to solve that as well. So it simplifies a lot of things. It sort of brings a platform to an otherwise chaotic world, and it should really help increase the trust. I think you mentioned the trust point in insurance. There is generally a mistrust that consumers have towards any insurance policy. I feel that with this coming in now, there will be a lot more trust, because now there is one way that you can complain and get your complaints resolved as well.
I want to understand one small thing. This is only for general insurance or any type of insurance we're talking about?
This is any type of insurance policy. So general life, anything. It's IRDAI, regulates every kind of insurance, and this is applicable to all insurance policies.
Amit, what's the time frame are we looking at once we have filed a complaint over here? What is the follow-up procedure that we will see happening, or we should actually expect?
Typically what we have seen is the IRDAI is very, they do rigorous follow-ups, from insurance companies, from intermediaries as well. So see, it depends. There's no one straight answer to that, because a lot of times it depends on the complexity of the complaint. Like, for example, if an insurance company is investigating a claim, typically the investigation can be as long as 15 days as well. In a BAU scenario, in a regular scenario, it takes time. But a lot of times these are small complaints. Like, for example, my issuance of my policy is stuck for some reason. My refund is pending with the insurance company. I want to make some endorsement. I want to make some changes in my policy copy. Like, for example, I want to change my address in the policy copy, but it's taking a very long time with the insurance company. So some things which are fairly small, I would say they would start getting resolved in a day or two. They already do. Most of them already do, but there are, some cases which get stuck. There, I feel things will become a lot faster, because right now, in the current process, through emails and all, it was taking a long time.
Exactly.
Now they will be even faster.
Exactly.
Because now it's a platform. So everything's sort of, there is a dashboard, there is a platform. You can see how many cases are open.
Exactly.
And you can quickly follow up and get those to closure. So again, tough to say a number, because it depends on the nature of complaints.
Yeah.
But I would say the TATs will reduce significantly, because now there is a platform.
And what about mis-selling? Any curb over there, any stop over there, any impact over there to reduce the number? Because that's an evergreen problem, I would say.
Absolutely. So the same thing applies to mis-selling also, Kavita. So again, if let's say I have been mis-sold a policy, so one of the things which have been talked about a lot recently is mis-selling by banks, specifically for like investment policies. So if, let's say, I have a complaint like that, earlier I had to write to the IRDAI, they will write to the bank, there will be a process. Now with Bima Bharosa coming in, I can just go to the portal and raise any complaints. And whatever the grievance redressal mechanism from there on is, it will be taken care of immediately. So again, you can raise those complaints on this platform, and whatever time it was taking, I think it will significantly now come down because of the whole transparent platform that is now in place.
Right, Amit, I do have a lot of questions for you, but then the time is up on the show for this particular section. Thank you so much for taking time out and helping our viewers understand what exactly is Bima Bharosa and how can they also make use of this very important and crucial platform set by the regulator. Thank you so much.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.